Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So I just filmed half of this video, at least I thought I was filming. As it turns out, I forgot to press record. So let's start it for the second time. Now, today I want to talk to you about a new to me house. It's a niche house called Gate Fragrances. This is a French house, at least that's what's listed on Fragrantica, but when I ordered from them, my package actually came from Dubai. So I'm not sure if it's a French/Dubai house. I don't know if just maybe their manufacturing facilities. They're not sure, but that's where it came from. They have around, I think, 15 fragrances in their catalog. It's a relatively new house. The first fragrance came out in 2015, I believe. They have several collections. Now, I don't have all of them to tell you about, but I did purchase a discovery set from one of their collections that's called Love Collection. Now, let me show you how it looks. First of all, here's the box. Very sturdy, very high quality packaging, very high quality. It's magnetized and not that simple to open. There is a little card inside, and this collection consists of 8 fragrances, so I have 8 samples here. And are you proud of me? I didn't blind buy any fragrances, at least to begin with. I purchased a discovery set. I wanted to test them and then to figure out if any of them were full bottle worth. And in fact, while I'm going to be talking about these fragrances, take a guess in the comments. Did I end up purchasing any full bottles? One or maybe a couple? I will definitely show you at the end if I have any full bottles and tell you if I'm planning to purchase any. So before we start going through these fragrances, I just wanted to say that I already mentioned in one of my previous videos that I really want to explore new houses this year. I want to try new fragrance and I want to do less blind buying. I really want to test them first before I blind buy. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm really going to try to do that for the rest of this year. So let's not waste any more time and start with testing these fragrances and talking about them. Now, they're in no particular order. And the first one I'm going to talk about is called Duet. Now, here you're going to see how the bottle looks, and I think I'm only going to include the picture of the bottle for the first one because all of them look exactly the same, just have different names. So instead of putting the same picture all the time, I'm going to be putting the name of each fragrance. So the first one, like I said, is called Duet. I've already sprayed all of them on blotters. What does this one have? There is olibanum, nutmeg, jasmine, tonka, tobacco, suede, vanilla, musk, and cedar. Now, I'm kind of pretty indifferent about this fragrance. I don't like it. I don't hate it. To me, this fragrance is kind of uneventful, very uneventful. That's how I would describe it. It's, if I didn't read the notes, it would be really hard to pick up on anything. Overall, it kind of has a really woody vibe for me. I think maybe it's the combination of, tobacco and suede and cedar and olibanum that kind of creates that vibe. I don't know, but it is woody. Overall, it is pretty light. It is not a strong fragrance at all. Nutmeg, jasmine, yeah, maybe a little bit, but like I said, hard to pick out. Overall, it's a woody, slightly nutty fragrance. Kind of boring, kind of light. Next one on the list is called First Sight. Now, this one has mint, lemonade, sorbet, citruses, pear, green leaves, black elder, no idea, sage, cedar, and musk. Okay, some interesting notes in there. Does anyone know what black elder is? I've never heard of it. No idea what it is. What does it smell like? Okay, this one is one of my favorites for sure. It is such a joyful fragrance. It is so happy. Every time I smell it, it makes me happy. Like, it just makes me happy. It truly smells like some kind of lemonade or some kind of citrusy sorbet. Like, truly, that's what it smells like. The note that comes out really strong to me, especially in the opening, is pear. Like, when I smelled it for the first time, before I knew any of the notes, I said right away, pear. This smells like pear. To me, when my daughter smelled it, she said orange. It smells like orange to her, which, you know, citruses are here, pear is here. So it is definitely very citrusy and fruity, but overall, really, it smells like sorbet or some kind of lemonade. That's what it smells like, you know? Nothing overly complicated, nothing overly complex, but really happy fragrance. Number 3. This one is called Inside Out. So, the notes. We have passion fruit, sorbet, basil, cassis, mandarin orange, frangipani, absinthe, rosemary, magnolia, wormwood, vanilla, and ice cream. A lot of really, really nice notes. This, surprisingly, was one of my top picks as well. I didn't think I was going to like it when I looked at the notes, because the note of absinthe I typically don't like. But you know, I don't feel it that strongly here. What's also interesting is that I don't think any nutty notes are listed here. Like, there are no any types of nuts, you know, almonds or anything else. But I strongly get a nutty feel in this fragrance. I don't know where it's coming from, but definitely it is nutty. It is a little bit fruity, but not very much so. It's not like, I would not call this fragrance, you know, juicy or really sweet or like overly fruity. No, there is some fruity nuances in the background, but there is this really nice element of freshness and this nutty flavor that it has. So, really interesting, not really picking up the notes that are listed here. You know, they say ice cream. To me, this is not ice cream. This is not very desserty type of scent. You know, I would barely call it gourmand. In fact, I don't think I would call it gourmand. So I don't know why, but that's how I see this fragrance. Like I said, it was one of the fragrances that I did like. I don't think it was my favorite, but I definitely like this one. It is interesting. It is also on the lighter side, definitely on the lighter side, but really, really pleasant, really interesting, and kind of, I'm a little bit intrigued by this fragrance because what I read in the notes and what I smell, they don't correspond at all. Next one on the list is Ivory Temptation. And this one has cardamom, mandarin, peach, spices, white florals, clove, cinnamon, rose, tonka, cashmere, musk, and sandalwood. So let's smell this one. This one is not one of my favorites. You know, the one kind of running theme here in most of these that kind of surprised me was that all of them are relatively light. I don't know why, but I sort of expected these fragrances to be stronger, to be more powerful, and they are a little bit lighter than I expected them to be. So I don't know, this was just my perception coming out of nowhere. I don't know, but that's what I thought. I thought they would be stronger, and they're definitely more on the light side. So the same with this one. So this one is mostly a spicy floral is how I would say it. So that's what the notes say, and that's really how it smells to me. You know, there is a little bit of sort of tonka and sandalwood kind of to break up the spiciness and the floral nuances of this fragrance and kind of tone them down. But overall, I do get the spices and I do get the floral. So this one is, like I said, spicy floral. Next one is Memories. And Memories has blackberry, cherry, tobacco, olibanum, frangipani, tonka, and maple sap. And, you know, I briefly looked at the notes of these fragrances before I ordered the sample set because, you know, originally, as you can imagine, I was considering blind buying one of the fragrances. And this one, I will tell you honestly, was my top contender. I almost blind bought this one. So, do I even like it now? Let's see. I do like it. I do. This is, you know, this is my favorite. I think this is my favorite from the bunch, or it's in the top two for sure. It really, I think, smells how the notes would suggest it smells. This one is deep, it is smoky, it is rich, it is a little bit dark, it is a little bit sweet. So I do get this fruitiness in this fragrance. It's not necessarily cherry. I don't think it's cherry that I'm getting, but you know, there's blackberry and cherry, so perhaps it's the combination of the two that just give off the fruitiness. It does have tobacco. It does have this sweetness from maple sap, and I do get maple sap, you know, because it's kind of a thicker, to me it's thicker, it's more gooey, kind of a more honey-like type of sweetness, and that's what I'm getting here. Now, tobacco is pretty pronounced here, pretty pronounced. And what I find is that as the fragrance dries down, tobacco becomes more and more prominent, and it kind of loses a bit of that sweetness and fruitiness that I get in the opening. So I would say for the first half of this fragrance's life, it is quite fruity, sweet, a little bit spicy, a little bit smoky, yeah, something like that. And then second half is more dedicated to tobacco. Like tobacco is the most prominent thing, and then sweetness and fruitiness are in the background. It's a beautiful scent. What else can I say? I like it. This is definitely done similar to Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, or maybe Parfums de Marly Haired, or I would even say this is more like a bit of a combination of Haired and Ojan from Parfums de Marly with some cherry added from Tom Ford. I don't know. It's getting a little complicated, but it kind of sends me in that direction. It's in no way dupe or identical to any of those, but going in the same direction. And I do like it a lot. Next one is called Precious Moment. So this one has dried fruits, cardamom, saffron, tobacco blossom, tuberose, patchouli. Well, as you can tell by the notes, this kind of is not necessarily my thing because it has saffron, it has tuberose, which I don't like. On the other hand, it has dried fruits, it has tobacco blossom, patchouli, which I do like. And I am kind of, my opinion on this fragrance is also divided like that. I am not a huge fan of the opening because I do get a pretty prominent tuberose. Now, it's a pretty kind of tuberose. It's not indolic, it's not too bubblegummy, it's not very aggressive. It's a really pretty tuberose, but it's still a tuberose. And when this dries down, so this is where the tuberose kind of dies down and dried fruits are coming more to the forefront. I can't really say tobacco blossom. Well, maybe, but it's so light. It's so light. I would probably just say it has a touch of smokiness, a touch of smokiness. Yeah, see, it's been drying down on this blotter for a while, and it does smell quite pretty. It really does smell pretty. It's that, you know, dried fruits together with that a bit of smokiness, a bit of earthiness. It smells really nice, really nice. But the opening for me is just a little bit too much tuberose. Like, it's not off-putting by any means, but just a little bit too much tuberose. So this one is nice. It's somewhere in the middle for me. Nice, but not my favorite. Okay, we're left with 2 more. The next one is called Secret Encounter. This one has pink pepper, ginger, artemisia, sage, jasmine, leather, tonka, cedar, vanilla, amber, and patchouli. What does this smell like? Well, this one is the worst one of the bunch for me. Definitely feel leather, definitely feel sage. It is like a bit aromatic, like it's an aromatic leather with some patchouli, definitely with pink pepper. Definitely it is quite peppery, it is spicy, like I can almost feel it in my nose, the pepper. Not really sweet, although vanilla is listed here. To me, there's no sweetness in this fragrance at all. There's also jasmine. No, I'm not really getting any florals in here either. It is this spicy, aromatic, slightly woody leather. Yeah, that's basically how I would describe it. Not my cup of tea. I don't like those types of fragrances. So for me, like I said, this was the worst one. And finally, we made it to the last fragrance, which is called Sensual Dreams. By the way, love all the names. They totally suit this, what they called love collection. So Sensual Dreams has nectarine, apple blossom, bergamot, tuberose, ylang ylang, cyclamen, red pepper, benzoin, vanilla, tonka, musk, patchouli, vetiver, and castoreum. Okay, a lot of notes. I was really curious about this fragrance as well. This was again one of the fragrances that I was considering blind buying. Kind of the notes really intrigued me. And I'm really glad I didn't buy this one because although I like it, but I don't love it. This is an interesting fragrance where I almost feel like it is too fruity and too sweet. Like the sweetness here is really fruity type of sweetness, but it's like almost a little bit too cloying, almost a little bit too much. Like I feel nectarine so strongly. It's front and center in this fragrance. And it is so ripe. It is so juicy. It is so sweet that it's a little bit headache inducing. It's a little bit too much, Honestly, it is a little bit too much. This fragrance gives me a bit of a headache. Now, I do feel some floral nuances in here. There's kind of this tuberose, ylang ylang mixing together. Tuberose doesn't bother me because it's not very prominent here. I actually think the floral nuances in this fragrance are really nice. Vanilla, tonka, musk. No, I feel like, the sweetness is really coming from the fruits. That's how I feel. Perhaps all of these notes are contributing, but I feel like it's fruity type of sweetness. And like I said, it's a little bit too much for me. It's a nice fragrance, but this one disappointed me a little bit. So there you go. These are the 8 fragrances from the Love collection. So now comes the big question. Did I purchase any full bottles? Did you take a guess? Well, I didn't. I did not purchase any full bottles. And I will tell you more. I'm not planning to purchase any at the moment. Of course, I can always change my mind. Our tastes change, our preferences change, the way we perceive fragrances changes. So I might, but right now, I don't think I need to add any of these to my collection. Now, let me explain why. Because it's not just a random decision, no, I'm not going to buy any. There is reasoning behind it. Although most of these fragrances were quite nice, there was honestly only one that I truly didn't like. Some of them I liked a lot, some of them I liked a little bit less, but overall, I really liked most of these fragrances. But if I had to summarize sort of my experience with all of these or my impression about all of these, I would say that all of them are slightly synthetic, in my opinion. They're just a little bit synthetic. I don't feel the quality in them that I wanted to feel. These are not cheap fragrances. I mean, they cost around 200 or 205, something like that, around 200 euros. So they are quite pricey, and I am not sure that price and quality correspond. Remember, this is just my opinion. If some of you disagree, that's okay. If some of you love these, that's wonderful. But for me, they all felt just slightly synthetic. So I'm really glad I didn't buy anything. At the same time, I'm really glad I ordered the sample set because I tried them, and now I can, put this aside. This house doesn't bother me anymore. I've tried it. It's not for me, at least not at the moment. So that's where things stand with Gate fragrance. So I would love to know if you have tried anything from this house, if you even have heard about this house, and what are your thoughts about it. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.